Hey friends, Libby here. I am in 12th South visiting with my good friends Stephen and Jordan over at Ranger Station Candle Company. We're gonna be mixing up a really good cocktail and celebrating their new candle, Super Bloom, the perfect scent for spring. Let's go.
How did she do it? Do it. Do it. Do it.
Libby. Oh, oh. Libby. Oh, oh. Libby.
3,
Oh, oh.
2,
Libby.
1.
It's the Libby Show.
Welcome to Happy Hour. We are mixing up a cocktail with Stephen, the owner of Ranger Station Candle Company. They are known for their great smelling candles, but also the glasses that they come in. They come in reusable cocktail glasses, and we're gonna make a cocktail from one of the most best-selling candles, the Santalum. Stephen, let's mix up a Negroni.
Let's do it. Well, thanks for having me here. This is so fun. Yeah, all the candles are in whiskey glasses, literally just because when I was first started making candles, I was getting really into mixology at the same time, and I just had a bunch of whiskey glasses around. So I was just, for no other reason than they were the only glasses I had, I was pouring all my candles into whiskey glasses. And then once it was done, I was like, I'm not gonna throw this away. So I just cleaned it out and we go back to being a whiskey glass. So that's how that was all started. But yeah, every single one of our scents, we do a cocktail pairing to it. Some of them are very classic cocktails. Some of them are like inventions of our own. Today, again, like the Santalum cocktail, or the Santalum candles paired with a classic Negroni.
Yep.
And they're meant to be like enjoyed together. So this is one of my favorite cocktails just because it is so classic and it's so easy to make because you make it right in the glass. So well, actually, no, we're not gonna start with ice first. It's just, the ratios are 1 to 1 to 1. So you got 1 ounce of gin, 1 ounce Campari, 1 ounce sweet vermouth. Always try to make sure your vermouth is fresh. Once it's opened, you always want to refrigerate it. A lot of people don't.
Noted.
And it's usually, keep it in the fridge and it's usually only good for about a month after that. So it's kind of like a fortified wine, so it will go bad. Not make you sick bad, but like not gonna taste good bad.
Well, it tastes good, and we want cocktails to taste perfect.
That's right.
So.
And also, this is my favorite gin right now, the Sipsmith gin. It is so
best.
good. If you're making a Negroni, like London Dry Gin, you just can't go wrong with it. It's funny because a Negroni is more of like an Italian cocktail, but the London Dry Gin, it just is the best way to go. So we just do 1 ounce of each of these. 1 ounce gin.
Also, the reason why I brought Sipsmith, and I love that you both love this gin too, is Jordan's scent is inspired by your trip to London.
It is.
So.
Yes. Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, Jordan's not a typical, ironically working for a fragrance company, she is not typically inclined to love perfumes and fragrance. And we were in London and I found, like, we smelled something while I was there and she commented on it. And I was like, normally when she comments on something, it's not good. It's like, oh, that guy in the elevator was wearing way too much cologne, like that type thing. And now I've got a headache. But this was like, she was like, oh man, whatever that was, like, I love it. And it was just so in passing. And I like took mental note of that. And then months later, I was going through raw materials and smelled something. And I was like, oh man, like this smells like what we smelled in London. And I built a perfume for her around that, which just was so fun.
The best.
So we get, 1 ounce gin, 1 ounce Campari, 1 ounce sweet vermouth. Take our ice. There you go.
The ice is beautiful, by the way. We just need to talk. We need to let the ice have its moment.
I know. And we just mix it right in the glass.
Beautiful.
Turn it that way so you can see that. Just enough to get a little chill on it.
Beautiful.
And then garnishes too. Negroni is classically garnished with an orange peel. I love to experiment with garnishes though. Because I hardly ever have oranges at home. So I always do, like, I garnish Negronis with lemons all the time, or grapefruit honestly is like really great as well. So you just express the oils over that.
And the orange is perfect for today because Super Bloom
Super
is
Bloom.
a citrus
There you
flavored
go.
candle.
Yep.
So
it worked out perfect.
Perfection.
So, and you want to try, you've actually got this bergamot,
Yes.
which bergamot's one of my favorite fragrance raw materials, which is like so fun. Yeah.
I thought since we're, at a fragrance company, we're gonna be able to experiment. There's room for experimentation.
There's always room for experimentation.
So I was recommended this bergamot liqueur God, it
so
smells
good.
so good.
So fresh,
And
so
the bottle's
summery.
beautiful. So I'm gonna.
That's half the battle. It's got to look good, right?
Half the
Yeah.
battle.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna start with ice. I'm gonna do.
Here you go.
Okay, so tell me your favorite cocktails that you like to make at home. Maybe your favorite cocktail and then Jordan's favorite cocktail.
Jordan's favorite cocktail right now, I'll tell you, is a tequila martini.
Okay.
Which is, you make it just like a traditional martini. So 2.5 ounces of tequila instead of gin.
Okay.
And then a classic martini is gonna have dry vermouth. A tequila martini, you use blanc vermouth, which just has like, it's a little bit drier than ironically, it's even drier than the dry vermouth. And you can find it, it's with all the other vermouths. There's the sweet, dry, and then the blanc is usually in a white bottle or clear bottle. And Dolan makes a great blanc vermouth too. And then ironically, I love making cocktails so much, but I think I've been making cocktails for so long that when people come over to the house, I'm always making cocktails for everybody else. And then when it's time for like, hey, what am I gonna drink? I'm usually drinking something neat or just like on a rock like this, but like usually just something by itself. It's like, I'm really into just sipping gin right now, like that Sipsmith gin.
I mean,
I've got a great like apple gin right now that I love sipping on. Cause I love like when I'm mixing stuff, it's like I'm taking all these different notes. Same with perfume, right? I'm taking all these like good notes and like mixing them together. So I almost feel like when I'm drinking, it's like I'm doing my own research on like, I'm gonna drink Campari by itself to like get all the nuances out of that to figure out what are some other ways I can use Campari.
You're also a musician, so
I am.
you do that when you're writing music too.
That's so true. Yep. So
Love it.
Yeah.
You
that's
just
what
got
I'm
a
into right
bunch
now.
of recommendations for weekend cocktails, so take note.
Yeah. Don't try them all at once, but
No,
yeah.
maybe just over time throughout the summer, whenever you're feeling it. But cheers, friends.
Cheers. Let's do this.
I'm glad we let
Always
that
good.
sit and chill for a little bit.
Always good.
Of course,
The hat.
the Ranger Station glass. Okay, so cleaning out a candle glass after you've burned through the candle. Best
So easy.
way to do that.
Toss it in your freezer overnight, and there'll be a tiny bit of wax left at the very bottom of the candle. Toss it in your freezer, and what the cold will do, it'll shrink the wax. So the wax will pull away from the glass. And then I will very often, like you can usually just take it and run hot water in your faucet and run hot water on the outside of the glass with it upside down. And a lot of times it'll just fall out. Or if you just take like a wooden utensil or something like that, it'll pop right out. Yep,
Perfect.
and then clean it out like with some soap and water and you're good to go. Add that to the bar cart, make a Negroni, sip on some tequila, whatever you need.
We love it.
Yeah.
Well, let's make Jordan a Negroni, and make sure that you visit rangerstation.co for candle selections, fragrances, different features that they've collaborated with different artists. You can get an artisan card right here with the Santa Lume and all the other candles that they have to offer. So check it out, and we're gonna go hang out back.
See you in a second.
Hey friends, Libby here with a brand new episode of the Libby Show. We are kicking off the spring season with my good friends Stephen and Jordan from Ranger Station Candle Company. They just launched their brand new candle today, Super Bloom, and we're here to talk about that. We mixed up a good cocktail, a classic cocktail, the Negroni.
Cheers.
And we're going to be talking about their story and all sorts of other things. Stephen and Jordan, welcome to the Libby Show.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thanks for
This is
inviting me
great.
to your space.
Anytime. Anytime.
Yeah. We're in like our happy spot. We've got cocktails and
Yeah,
we're
the
just
sun's
hanging out.
shining, spring's almost here, and we got cocktails. We're good to go.
Yeah.
So,
The weather in Nashville today is perfect.
Yes.
it really
Like
is.
first-ish day of spring.
Yeah, first-ish day of spring.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about how it's like back and forth and back and forth. This could be a tease.
Yeah.
We could have snow tomorrow.
Totally.
Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Who knows? Who knows? Well, I'm very excited to be here to chat with you all, to hang out with you and catch up. 2023 was a big year for you. So
Yes.
this brick and mortar space in 12 South neighborhood is brand new. You started new artist collaborations, one of them being with Noah Kahan. Lauren Akins, you released a fragrance with her. Amazing. How does it feel? Like, what kept you inspired leading up to this point?
oh, man.
We put a lot of work in 2022 to kind of like lay the groundwork for 23. So we really the brand had been around for a little bit, and we were like, okay, I think it's really important to like look at the brand and make sure, like, make some tweaks, like tweak the look a little bit, tweak our language a little bit, make sure it's all making sense, because it's working, but like we want to scale it up a lot, and we want to make sure that we're really like proud of what we have. So we put a lot of work in 2022 that really paid off in 2023.
Yeah, it did.
And our team also just crushed it. I mean, the features thing, the music collaborations, and even Lauren Akins, like that just happened because Nashville is Nashville and it's so small. And so we had friends saying like, hey, can we do a partnership? Can we have a candle for our tour? And we were like, yeah, sure. And some of them even were just like, we just want like a candle
for the merch
bus.
shop.
Yeah. No, even just like for them, like on the bus. And we were like,
We're like,
sure.
yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, we've actually got to start making this make sense, because we can't just like, throw everyone's face on a Ranger Station candle. And so our team came up with the features program, and it's been so cool to tell story through scent and music, and it kind of brings our worlds together beautifully.
Yeah, I feel like the past year has been a lot of like something we always say is like if it's worth doing, it's worth doing well. And what's really cool about that, it's like there's always, you can always do something better than you're already doing it. And I feel like we really leaned into that last year, where we were just with all of our product and with our team and people, and we were just like, how can we do this even better? And that just became so reflected in the product. And then like there's, like Jordan was saying, like so many of these collaborations and stuff were coming our way, and I truly think that's because of the people that we have on our team and just like their commitment to like making the best product possible, which has been really, really cool. And our team just leveled up. Like the people we got on our team is just like I think that's always been our greatest asset, is just the team that we have. So.
And then also with this store, like you mentioned, I mean, that was a game changer for our business too, because it made it real for people. Like people got to step in and experience the brand in a new way. And I think that really gave us legs this past year.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we have 2 kids, and we say last year we had a 3rd baby, which was this.
Was this store. Yep.
It was like potentially harder than having
the
actual like walking around children.
More growing pains.
Yeah. But it's the coolest. Like you've been in there this morning. It's
incredible.
Like, so fun to just like have neighbors walking by and saying hi, and people getting to smell everything in real life. It's really fun.
Put a stamp on things too, because it's like we're in a lot of stores around the country. We were online, but it was like this was like the first time we were able to be like create this in-person experience where it's like you can come here and just feel what Ranger Station's all about. So I think that made a huge difference for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's clear, even for someone walking in this space, maybe not even being from Nashville, that you really embrace the Nashville community. I mean, even with Lauren and then also with Porter's Call, you have created a product that's, giving back to organizations that mean a lot to creatives and, to those in need. So
yeah, we, I mean, to whom much is given, much is required. I think we have a great responsibility, and we also just, those are our friends, and like Porter's Call, we both have friends who have benefited from their services, and we've always just loved the team over there. We're like, could we become musicians so we can like come here? They're so awesome, and we just love them.
They really are.
Provide counseling services for musicians, touring musicians, and it's such a niche thing, but it's so important. Like I'm sure you are the same. Like a lot of musicians who have probably benefited from them. So we just love them, and Love One is also something that's just personally like, it's so special to me, and like knowing Lauren and Suzanne and Grace and like the whole Love One team, they just do everything above and beyond and provide medical care for children in Uganda. And so we're like, it's like, kind of like a left field thing for us to invest in, but it's like personally we're obsessed with it, so we're doing it, and it's so fun to partner with them.
I feel like all of our partnerships too, something we've said, it's like so many of those partnerships have just kind of like naturally happened. We're just like,
Which is the best curation.
it's the best way to do it. We're just like, oh, we really like you as people. We really like what you're doing. So is there something we can do? Let's just figure it out, you know? And I think that's just Nashville. I always say like that, like Ranger Station would never have started if I wasn't in Nashville. And I think like that's such a big part of it is like, Nashville's just a bunch of people that are like, oh, cool, we really like each other. Is there something we can do together?
Yeah.
Sure, let's do that, you know?
Don't force it. We've tried to force things before, like,
and they don't work.
a couple times.
Yeah,
and we're like, nope.
You're like, oh, we should try that again. And we're like, no, we got all this other stuff that's just kind of naturally happening because it's, you know, doing business with good people, you know, is the best partnership there is.
Taking your time, and I know with building a show, you know, the way that shoots go, I obviously plan things out, but whenever I just let go and let things flow, it creates a real experience for people to partake in when they're watching it.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
So we all went to Belmont, speaking of community.
Yes.
Belmont till I die.
Literally, it's down the street. I always love how one of their phrases is "from here to anywhere," and we decided
It's
really
just
close.
Nashville.
Yeah, we're like, I'm always like from here to here because we just stayed here. Yep.
Yeah, like still in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
And, you know, the thing that I love most about it, about that experience, is they really embrace entrepreneurship. So, musician, entrepreneur, what does pioneering mean to you? I know you talk a lot about how you have a pioneering spirit for your sense here, but what does that mean to you personally?
I think this is all you.
Well, you need to go too. I'll go first. But I think it's this, we have something at our company where like this idea that it's at our company, but it's also like very personal to me and us. But this idea that like we want to die with memories, not dreams. And it's just the whole idea of just being like, you know, when we get to the end of our life, like we want to look back and be like, man, we didn't succeed at everything, but we tried everything that we wanted to try, you know, and we took risks and we have a lot of experiences. Yeah. And to me, that's what it is. I think success is, I think we see it everywhere where it's like, it's very clear that like financial income is not like the only way to be like successful. You look at you look at people that have like tons of money and they're still not happy, right? It's the most joyful people that I know are people that are out and they're truly like, not to be cliche, but they're seizing the day and they're like, man, I've got this crazy idea. I'm going to go try that, you know, and maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. But this whole mentality of the worst case scenario becomes not trying something, not that thing could fail. You know, it's like, and to me, that's what it is. And that's what Ranger Station was birthed out of and how I try to like, you know, I don't do it right every day, but that's kind of like what I try to lean into is like, this is, you know, I don't want to ever regret something because I never tried it.
Right.
You know, I'd rather be like, I gave it a shot and either it worked or it didn't work. But even if it didn't work, it's like, I'm glad that I still tried it. So that's what it means to me.
Yeah. I'm more of like pioneering for me means like doing it your own way, which we're not like a company that's trying to like go against the grain and like shake everything up.
Disrupt.
Yeah, but like,
This is now a Gary Vee podcast.
Yeah. Yes.
This is now turning into like
on brand for me. I'm like, just do your own thing.
Yeah.
Do it my own way. But no, like I think a lot of people, you know, I think Steve put this in more personal terms, but like in terms of our business, like, you know, a lot of people kind of follow the same roadmap and like have really similar goals. Let's be in a big box store. Let's like expand in this way and let's have like these 5 celebrities talk about us, and we just are not like that. Like I think for us, success is doing it a little bit differently and having like a quality of life for us and for our team. We've had so many team members come to us and say like, I really appreciate the balance I have here. They're working their tails off.
Yeah.
And they love it, but they also are like able to go to the mountains for a week and not worry about, you know, getting shut out. And like, that's really important for us is just like having that balance personally and in our business and like taking things slow, like you said, like sustainable growth. And like, yeah, we're taking big risks, but like we're pioneering and like we're kind of like growing our company in our own way and not following that like normal fragrance company formula, which feels exciting for us.
Yeah, the Ranger Station stuff, it's so, fragrance is very, and there's nothing wrong with this at all. I have tons of respect for it, but traditionally, fragrance is very kind of like, it leans into that high art, very European. The center of fragrance is France. Like it's, you know, which is, all of that's amazing, but we want to do something different where we're like, there's no reason we can't bring this American craftsmanship quality and sentiment to fragrance. So that's what we're doing too. So I think that's just, again, it's different, you know, blazing our own trail.
Yeah. And I feel like what you're both speaking to is leaving room for curiosity.
Yes.
I mean, curiosity allows you, again, to trial and error.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're doing a lot of that right now and just seeing what sticks, you know? So that's been really fun for us.
I love that so much. Okay, so I want to talk about how this space is an extension of your home. So you're creating memories for people, making cocktails, traveling. So talk a little bit more about that and maybe elements of this space that remind you of things that are important to you.
Well, the art that's behind us. Our friend Wes did this.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, he has been my friend for a long time, and Steve's. We just love them. And
these are all like items from his, like he did a few pieces, and this is, they're all like items from like his family history and stuff like that too, which is
so
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, it's like we try not to be one with the brand, but we kind of are. You know, like.
Well, I mean, it's like we even when we set out to, with the brand in general, and then like when the brand was embodied in this physical space, something that we talked about all the time, it's like we want it to feel like people are coming into our home. And when people come into our home, it's like when you walk through the door, we're like, hey, what do you want to drink? Like, we've got food for you. It's like a very, like, we want it to be a very hospitable place where you just feel comfortable. So
sorry, but that's why we have like bar stools.
Yeah.
And a bar like around the perimeter of our store. It's like people are like, is this the bar or what is this? We're like, yeah, just you can come hang out, like.
And we do cocktail happy hour events here. Like it's like we want it to be more than just a store, right?
Yeah.
So
here to get a candle. Or,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Like we want to be that and like an experience. If somebody's like, oh, I got time to kill, it's like, come on down, hang out, you know?
Yeah,
So.
like it's literally an open door policy. That's what we say for our house, and that's what we have here at our store. Our door is open, literally, and we love like having our people in here. And then just, you know, like I started out talking about the art, but like we've had so many of our friends and people who are important to us kind of put their
stamp on it.
Stamp on the store, which has been really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to also mention we're in your custom scent space.
Yeah.
So I've heard you talk about how you include top, middle, and base notes. Talk about that process.
For
that's
custom
like,
perfuming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to give him a time limit.
Can you
I will go
in 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I will go quick. Yeah, so this is a space, like my whole perfumer's organs right here, and that's where this is where I do all my kind of creative work. And it's all, I mean, we mentioned music before, and that's my whole background, but perfume is very similar to music in that I'm dealing with scent notes, just like music notes, and you use those notes to build chords, same as you do in music, and then those chords are what like make up the actual finished product, whether it's a candle, a fine fragrance, or whatever it ends up being. But yeah, then the top, middle, and base notes, it's like every fragrance, whether it's a candle or perfume, a reed diffuser, whatever it's going into, can be broken down into what are the top notes, middle notes, and base notes. And honestly, music's the easiest way to think about that because it's like in music you have treble, middle, and bass, and it's almost the same thing. When you first smell something, the top notes are what you're going to smell first. The top notes are the very light notes. They're like bergamot is a top note. A lot of citruses, really light florals, like a lot of sweet notes are top notes where they're like the molecules themselves are really, really small and they're really, really volatile. They move around a lot, so you notice them right away. And then middle notes are also called heart notes, and they're just like your lighter wood notes, your heavier florals, a lot of mossy notes, things like that, like a lot of green notes.
I took the quiz and oak moss was in my
Nice. Yep. Yep.
was in my selection.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
good.
And then base notes are my favorite thing to work with. Some like Jordan's perfume is only base notes. There's no top and middle notes. And a lot of our fragrances are, if not all base notes, mostly base notes. And they're just like heavy woods, ambers, musks, all those things. And the molecules themselves are really big and heavy, and they're not volatile at all, so they hang around for a long time. So it's what gives a fragrance longevity. Like when you spray a perfume on in the morning, you're smelling all the top notes, but when you're out for drinks with friends at the end of the day, it's like what you're smelling are the base notes. That's all that is left. So, because they just hang around like that. So, and there's a lot of people would say like a quality fragrance is one that lasts a really long time. You can make just about any fragrance last a really long time, but it's like, if you want like a fragrance that's all bergamot, it's just not going to last that long because that's just the nature of the bergamot itself. Yeah.
I'm gonna be dissecting every single candle and
I
fragrance
know.
that I get now.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
love it. Well, before we wrap up, I got to talk about Super Bloom. So
Yes.
quickly talk through, what inspired this. It's citrus forward, perfect spring and summer candle
Yep.
to have in your home. So
It's so good. Like, ironically, I'm not even really a fragrance person.
Which makes her the best judge of everything.
hey, and guess
Yeah.
what? The cocktail has Hendrix in it.
There
Yeah.
you
We love
go.
Hendrix.
There you go.
We're here
Yep.
for Hendrix.
So
Yep.
what's the name of that? Spring's First Bloom, Super Bloom candle cocktail. We've got Saint Germain, lemongrass, lemon juice, lavender bitters, one egg white. This is me in a
I know,
cocktail. I
I
love
know.
it.
There you go. That's
It looks
perfect.
so good, but
Stick around for a while. We'll make that one
I
next.
love
Yeah.
it. And some
Yeah.
matches. And I'm just gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
isn't it so good?
It's
like,
fun. It was a really fun project to work on because we did when Ranger Station first started, right? It was everything we did was much more masculine leaning and everything. We still definitely lean in that direction. But when it came to the Super Bloom candle, it was this really cool, unique challenge for me where I was like, we want to do a candle that is very citrus forward and floral forward, which typically is not something that I would always go towards.
Sometimes those can be really strong.
yes.
Totally.
And that I
Yeah.
like how
And headachy.
air.
It can
Yeah.
be headachy.
Mm-hmm.
Airy.
And a lot of it is, it's like I'll hear a lot of people say things like, I don't like florals, I don't like sweet, I don't like citrus, I don't like rose, things like that. And so much of the time, it's just like when we think of a really floral fragrance, it's, something that it's like, yes, there's floral in it, but it might be something from like that, like our grandparents had, or like our just memory of like what floral means is so ingrained where like the true floral notes, like really light, like florals, like tuberose, like that's in Super Bloom and jasmine and these lighter white florals, they're really beautiful, but they're not super headachy. They're not really sweet. And so it was a really fun project for that because I was like, we want to do this great candle for spring that's very floral, very citrus, but like when somebody smells it, they're not going to immediately think of like floral and citrus like they typically would think. So
I'm thinking
yeah.
of like a screened-in porch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the
Yeah.
first thing that came to mind was like
yeah,
sitting outside with my mom
Yes.
or a grandma and like sitting on the porch and
Yeah.
smelling the flowers in the yard, but the flowers like aren't right there.
Yes.
You know?
totally.
I
Yep.
know. I want to take that home. It's
Yeah.
so good.
I know a guy. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so
thank
it was
you
really fun.
guys so
Yeah,
much.
thank
Thanks for doing
For
this.
having me.
Yeah, of course.
And congratulations on everything. I mean, this is just incredible what you're doing here in Nashville and beyond. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Well, thank
congrats to you too.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Make sure you check it out, rangerstation.co. Follow them on Instagram, everywhere, and get yourself some spring and summer.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Libby Ocean.